Hey, what's up, guys? I got through all of these games in the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm trilogy, and I thought I'd tell you what I thought of all of them together. As a Naruto fan, you're gonna probably some of you are gonna play all the games and watch all the specials and spin-offs and whatever. That's kind of what this game is, in my opinion, designated for. If you want to get into an anime or a manga, you don't start with a video game because they do it horribly. Maybe you see your friend playing it and you have fun. If you're interested, you drop that game and you start watching it, or you start reading the manga. And that's very, very much the case in this one. They're skipping all over the place. They leave out a lot of details. There's a lot of lore in Naruto that they leave out. There's a lot of details they kind of fudge up. A lot of it doesn't make sense. I had a friend of mine watching me play the one time I was streaming, and he's asking me all these questions like, who's this guy? What is he doing here? What? I don't understand. And I was good at explaining everything to him, but had I not been watching anime and reading manga, I wouldn't be able to tell him anything. And much like the anime, they screw things up from the manga. So we're talking about they don't get into Kakashi and Obito in that that third Ninja War flashback or whatever. They don't get into that for a long time. In the anime, I don't believe they get into it until like right before, like around the time you find out who Toby is. In the game, you don't see it at all, and in this trilogy you don't see it. I think you might see it in Ultimate Ninja 4, which is weird because that's not included in this trilogy, and this series isn't really a trilogy at all. It's a four-part thing. The end of the anime is not in part 3 of this trilogy. So there's that. And then if you call this a fighting game, it's very jank. I don't like the mechanics in it very much. It's fun just to play for the fuck of it, but it's just kind of, you know, whatever when you're playing it. It's like the Shonen Jump and like playing Power Stone or something. It's just for fun. Sound design and the music, it's all great, and it looks amazing. This particular game I'm playing right now is part 1 that came out in 2008 or 2009. This is my favorite one because they kind of don't follow the story the same way that the other two do. In this one, you're doing stuff around the village, and you can walk around the entire village, and you can do this, you can like run. There's a lot more unbreakable stuff to collect, and as you can see, like, you can see where you are in the village. That's the Hokage residence or office, whatever the fuck. And here's that main street you see sometimes, and the little shops alongside. Whereas in the other two games, it's fixed camera, you know, map by map, old school RPG style, and you do a little bit of exploring, but not to the extent of this game. And this one, you know, if you're an old video game player like me, you're just gonna look for stuff to jump on just for the fuck of it, just to get on top of a building just for the sake of doing it. And there's stuff up here. These unlock some of the doors. You put objects down on switches. You find all ingredients to take to the ramen shop, which you do in the other games, but you're not really unlocking anything to do it. You're just kind of picking stuff up off the ground. And this game also does better with the pacing because of that. Because you don't have to walk to every destination. All you have to do is go into your mission list, and there it is. Every story mission is lined up, and you unlock them with points. You get the points by collecting scrolls on the map. And you also collect scrolls doing these missions here. These are like side missions. Some of them are battles, some of them are mini games. That's a mini game. That's a mini game. That's a fight. And yeah, and in the other games, you're not doing it that way. You're doing it as in classic RPG. I'm starting here. I have to go see this person. I go talk to that person. That triggers a mission, but the mission just doesn't start. You have to go here. That's where the mission is. And there isn't really a lot of exploration, and they kind of reuse maps cleverly. Like, for example, I have to get to what was it? One of Orochimaru's hideouts in part 2 when you're playing as Sasuke after he absorbs Orochimaru or whatever, kills him. You go back to a map you've already been to, and he kind of just does some random jutsu, and then a tree disappears, and then you go down that path, ultimately leading to one new map, and then that's it. And these maps they're not that great. There's not a lot to do on them. There's a couple things laying around that you pick up. There's no interesting NPCs at all. In this one, it's very much how I like my anime-based games to be. There's a lot of lore in this show, in this manga, and then here you are to make it more of a reality. So you walk along and you see that character. You know that character, right? Go down this way. Here's one of the puzzles I was telling you about, right? This is not in 2 at all.
Something's left on the ground.
You do a little timing puzzle, a little button mashing, and you get stuff. In the other game, you just kind of find it and unlock it by fighting or whatever. So overall, it's pretty standard for an anime game. It's not very good, but if you have to have everything Naruto, you're definitely getting it. As like a fighting game, nah, not at all. They should have went more traditional at some point instead of just doing the same thing over and over. But it kind of seems like with a lot of the anime games, it's not like, oh, well, we're going to take this concept of all this lore and, this world building that you have here, and we're going to extrapolate on it and, like, create our own scenario, or do, like, a flashback maybe we haven't heard of from, like, the original author or something. He can, give us a story to build the game upon. No, it's the story that we know. It's done bad. Sometimes it's not consistent. Sometimes it's like we're gonna drop shit and then we're gonna do stuff and then we don't mention it ever again. For example, in part 2, you don't know who Danzo is at all. So Pain as an enemy is just a dickhead. He's just a guy. Like, you're supposed to sympathize with that character in the manga or on the show. Here you can't, because you don't know anything about him, really. You don't know his background. They don't do the Jiraiya flashbacks, really. They kind of show a screenshot here and there. and they also don't talk about Hanzo, and they don't talk about anything else that happened. So it's like a 5 out of 10 game, and then it's like a 9 out of 10 Naruto fan game. So I think the trilogy is like $20. You know, not bad to just pick up. So if you're into that type of thing, check it out. Have a good time playing, and I'll see you guys next time.